Hi, sweet baby. I love you. You want some more treats? Are you happy?
When Jen first saw this cat, he looked quiet and a little lost. She never imagined that at home he would respond to her words as if he were trying to keep the conversation going. It all began the moment she saw his photo and suddenly felt that she needed to go meet him in person. Jen had always thought of herself as a dog person and never pictured herself bringing a cat into her life. But one day, while she was living in Georgia, she came across a photo online of a shelter cat in Alabama named Birdie. In that picture, he looked scruffy and a bit confused, and there was something in his eyes that caught her attention right away. The decision to go get him came instantly, but when Jen arrived at the shelter and heard his story, her first rush of excitement turned into concern, because Birdie's past was far more complicated than she expected. At the shelter, Jen learned that Birdie had been found on the street, and his first owners gave him up almost immediately. After that, he was adopted several more times, but each time it ended the same way. He stayed in a home for a short while, and then ended up back at the shelter. And then he went through an accident. His tail got caught under a recliner, and he lost part of it. Listening to all of this, Jen couldn't help thinking about whether a cat with that kind of past could ever feel safe again with a person, and whether she had the strength to help him get there. Despite her doubts, Jen brought Birdie home. Being used to dogs, she treated him the same way at first, expecting the kinds of reactions she knew well, but from the very first days, Birdie showed his own personality. He immediately started exploring the house, played nonstop, created little tasks for himself, and stayed on the move almost all the time, as if he were trying to make up for everything he had missed. And the more Jen watched him, the clearer it became that this was a cat who didn't behave like a typical cat. And each day, that part of him stood out even more. Over time, Jen started to notice that Birdie's behavior was nothing like what she expected from a cat. He was almost always nearby, watching what she was doing and jumping into any game, as if it mattered to him not just to run around, but to be part of whatever was happening. He set up little challenges for himself, pushing toys under the furniture on purpose and trying to get them out, choosing different routes like he was working his way through a puzzle. In his quiet moments, he became incredibly gentle, but he could suddenly step away when he wanted some time alone. And one day, when Jen spoke to him, he made a sound that felt like a real reply.
Hi. Do you want to play in here?
So deliberate that she stopped in place and simply looked at him, trying to understand whether he truly answered or if she only imagined it. After that moment, Jen began to notice that Birdie reacted to her words more and more often, and always in his own way, almost as if he were choosing the tone for each situation. Sometimes it was a short sound, other times a long one, and all of it felt like a real attempt to communicate.
Hey Birdie, you want to say hi to everybody? Say hi, thanks for watching all my videos.
He especially came alive when he heard birds outside the window. He would start copying them and talking back, so focused and excited that it seemed as if they were his actual companions. But what touched Jen the most was his nighttime habit. Every evening, Birdie looked for a spot close to her, settled down next to her, and fell asleep as if he could only feel truly safe when he was by her side. With each night, their bond grew stronger. Birdie always fell asleep next to Jen, sometimes curled at her feet, and sometimes pressed against her side, as if he really needed to feel her close. He snored softly in his own funny way, and over time, those sounds became something warm and familiar to her. Jen found herself thinking more and more that Birdie was her true companion, the one she couldn't imagine her life without. And looking back at everything they had been through, she understood that this cat didn't just become part of her life, he quietly made it better in ways she never expected.